All right, so this is the weekly vlog podcast that two of our participants from the Beth Sholom Temple Youth Group are going to be participating in every week. And we are going to be talking about daily events, also current events and things that affect our generation, Gen Z, millennials, late millennials, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to take on a specific thing every single week that we're going to talk about and just share our views and share our experiences. And so this week we are going to be doing daily routines and talking about how our daily routine has changed and what we're going to do in quarantine for how we're going to take care of ourselves and what we can do for others as well. So let's start with Sami. So what have you what type of routine have you kind of like put together for yourself to just kind of come back to like feeling some sort of a norm?
So it's definitely a lot different than being in school every single day. Like I would wake up at 6 and get ready. Recently my sleep schedule is really messed up, but my schedule is I look at specific subjects that I might want to do one day and then other subjects the next day, because the last thing I want is to spend my whole entire day struggling with a certain subject. So maybe I'll do like 3 subjects that I find easy for me, and then the next day I'll focus on hard ones. But I definitely like to expand my whole week and see how, or like what I should do. Maybe one day I'll clean my room, maybe one day I'll do laundry. Just different stuff that every day I'm not like, oh, I wish I did that instead of that. So I would have like a goal in the end of the day. So yeah, I'll write also in like an agenda I have, or like little post-its I'll stick on my wall.
Nice. Now, Sami's still in high school. Abby is doing her senior year at Rockland Community College. So she has more of a college type schedule that she follows. So Abby, how have you how's your routine kind of been affected?
So I actually do my like to-do list the night before, not the morning, because if I do a to-do list in the morning, half of it's not getting done. I'm not going to do anything on it except that one thing that I was going to like do a couple weeks ago. So I think of like homework, and then I mix it with like an at-home thing that I have to do, like clean laundry or organize something. And then I'll put like some kind of exercise or some like to move, because you can't just sit and do work all day. And also, I don't know, I also try to like talk with friends on FaceTime to switch up the work like routine. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Nice. So what do you think is like the hardest part of like, because we've been in quarantine for now about like 3-ish weeks, I think, at this point. So what has been like the hardest part about like being able to keep to routine and keeping to like just feeling motivated and doing things, because there's not really much like to tell you like, hey, you should do this because of this and this consequence or something like that. Like it's not a direct like in your face sort of consequence. So what's been like kind of like the hardest part about like keeping yourself motivated?
Not pulling all-nighters and like going to sleep at a decent time so I'm not dead. I learned that the hard way because I got like sick. Like your immune system, it just starts to fail if you're not sleeping, if you're not getting any rest. Like I'm not sick with obviously the virus, but like I got a cold, and then like I was like, oh, I should sleep a little bit more, and I felt a lot better. I felt motivated. I felt ready to do things. So I think sleep is very important, like especially when you're staying at home already the whole day. Yeah.
How about you, Sam?
I think the hardest thing for me is to like stick with a new schedule. Like the one thing I like about school, it's hard to say, but like is I had like an outline of my whole entire day, like a half an hour for every class, and like I would get home, I would focus on my homework. I would just have like a schedule, but I think now I really don't. I haven't really been getting a lot of sleep, and I think sleep is also important, like Avi said, but I think the hardest thing is just also not being able to go out. I feel like everything's closed, so I feel like I'm just in like trap. Like I feel like everyone's just stuck with everyone. Like of course like you're with your family and that's something really important, but the fact that we can't like even like get a movie ticket or do anything like that, like that scares me, and I think that's stressing me out, and that's not making me sleep, and that's then messing up my whole day. So I feel like I have to get used to not having like a nice like routine, but I'm trying so hard to, make one so it's easy. My days get, faster and easier.
All right. What is something you would like to fit in your day every day? Like since you have so much, free time to do like whatever, like what's one thing that you've always wanted to like fit into your daily routine and just haven't had the time before, but now you do?
Probably clean, like, and like bake. Like I've been baking a lot more and kind of having more family time. Like I always would stay in my room and, or go out with my friends like to the mall, or not just not talk with my family. Of course I like have dinner with them, but when everything was going on every weekend, I would go out with my friends and I wouldn't spend any really family time with my mom and my brother and my grandparents, which was really hard for me because I could see that they really wanted me to, but I would stay in my room and watch like Netflix or watch YouTube or do stuff like in my room. So I feel like with this everything going on, like I finally had the opportunity to get family time and focus on the house and clean my room, do stuff that I always inside wanted to do but really never would do it. But now I'm like, I have nothing else better to do, so I might as well try new things out. So
I also agree with Sami saying like family time, because yeah, you see your family every single day. You always complain about them, like making you do certain things. But after a couple weeks of quarantine, I realized that I actually don't know my family like as much as like I think people think they do. And I started talking to them about like just like past history and like just family members, and like how, because like we have like this like far relative that's like connected somehow to like another part of the family, which is like very cool, I think. Not like my mom and my dad, they're like related. I don't know where I'm going with this, but basically I just found out like some fun like some fun like facts about my relatives, which is like really cool. I also like I talked to my grandma on the phone, but like not for like hours, and now I can just talk and like hear everything out and like hear everyone out, and like not like, oh, I have to go somewhere, oh, I have to be somewhere. No, you don't. You're not going anywhere.
yeah.
So I think it's good to talk it out. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really unique experience. So we all get to actually, like, as Americans, have some time to like really get to spend time with our families and really get to live with the people that we live with. Because I feel like a lot of us are just busy, going to work and going home, and then you sleep the whole time, and then you have work to do, and you can live with somebody for ever, but you could still not really like be living with that person, so to say. But now we all have to really like figure out our stuff, and if there's a quarrel in that house, you better figure it out because you guys are stuck, huh?
Yeah.
But it's nice. I think it's I think it's a really unique opportunity for everybody to like, be on each other's team and really kind of like, have some teamwork and a actual like be having to work things out with people and not just be like whatever, say love you, there's 10 other fishies in the sea. Like you actually have to figure stuff out and really um get along with people and care for people and really have empathy for those who are sick, for those who have weakened immune systems, who can't work, who've had to like being quarantined for like over a month already because they have like an autoimmune disease or any sort of thing that weakens your immune system. So we've really had to, as a society, make allowances for people who are not as able to do things like with a threat as relevant as corona. But in a lighter note, what have you guys been doing as like creative outlets? That like have you guys like resorted to doing any like little fun creative things that maybe you just started picking up or doing or redoing?
I obviously love art, but like I never really have the time to like create because I'm just pounded with schoolwork. But now that I'm at home, like during like my breaks, I like to paint and like just hang it up on my wall and just I don't know, just makes me happy. That I can actually like do something with my life, like other than schoolwork, because obviously I'm going to school for like design and like I'm not doing anything with it like it when I'm in school, so that's kind of sad. But now I have quarantine, so
Yeah, you said you were doing a lot of watercolors and things like that.
let me get it. Well, yeah.
Try the painting.
So I got this handy dandy dude that I painted like last week. I'm not sure. There needs to be some text, I feel. It's a little plain for me, but it's fine. It's okay.
Respected. How about you, Sammy? You were saying that you started baking more and
Yeah.
like that.
I love food. I love baking and cooking. So, of course, when I was in school, I've been not like Avi said, like I didn't have time to do it, or I didn't really have the ingredients or specific stuff. But at the store, when everything is basically gone except like baking supplies, honestly, like I've had more time to bake. And like last night, I baked with brownies, and like I also baked with my family, so I got some like family time in there. And honestly, like it just took me away from my phone, away from the news, away from everything. And I also like focusing on other stuff instead of what's going on in the world, because yeah, you should be updated, but it can be a little stressful and scary seeing everything on the news and people saying how badly it is and the numbers constantly increasing. There's like no change, just going up and getting worse. So I think like the TV was off, everyone was off their phones. Like it was a nice family time, and it was also really fun to make because I love baking.
Heck yeah. All right. So I guess as we kind of come to a little bit of a close, got a couple more questions. We'll start with Abby. What's like your goal by the end of quarantine? Because supposedly we're not going to be out of this totally until maybe like June, July. So what's like a like kind of a goal, a personal goal or a goal for the world, or anything you would like to have accomplished by June, July, by the end of quarantine, what would you like to have accomplished?
I think because I got my sense of like art style this past couple months. So like that was like really cool because I didn't even know what an art style was like before this, and I was like really nervous because I was like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to get one. But like I really want to like develop it and like, I don't know, have like a small business like on Etsy or something. I think that would be really cool. Because everyone's at home and like online business is kind of like some companies are doing well. So I don't know, I think it would just be fun because then I can just not even just to make money, just like to start off doing something like selling art. Yeah.
How about you, Sam?
Um, Definitely like go through my room and like decorate. I've always wanted to do that, and I have a lot of old stuff like Barbies that like my family always talks about a garage sale, but right now like we can't. But definitely like, by the end of this, like I would love going through my clothes and giving away some of my old clothes and you know just going through everything in my room to kind of clean it up. So if we do go back to school or the start of the summer or the new school year next year, kind of like a fresh start almost and putting everything in the past. So that's like my goal.
Do you guys have like any last words, affirmations, good nice words to say to people who maybe are worried or ailing, or or maybe advice of what of things we should maybe like think about or keep in our hearts during this time?
Yeah, so the one thing that my mom and my brother like have been helping me with is to stay positive through all of this. I was just told that like a lot of my honor societies were canceled and junior ball, like a homecoming might be like postponed or canceled. And like yeah, it sucks, but my mom's like, you're healthy, your friends and family are healthy. So I feel like yeah, seeing the news will stress you out and yeah, the whole everything is like scary and you can't really leave your house. You have to see the positives and everything, and even just not with the coronavirus. I think everyone needs to see the positive in everything. Like if you lose a friend, like if you're in a fight and you lose a friend, that like maybe it's for the best and you see the positive in that. Just because if you always look at the negatives, you're always stressing, you're never getting any sleep, and then you destroy your immune system, and then you get even more stressed out, and it can really change your life. So I think everyone needs to just stay positive, and yeah, it's scary, but look at like the earth is healing, like pollution has gone down in many countries and animals are like roaming around. Like if you look at the news other than watching, people talk about the coronavirus and increasing numbers, like animals are out of, zoos and just like walking around like human beings are. And in the end, the earth is healing and I think the earth needed this. So yeah, it's scary. People are passing away and it's really sad, but look at the positives and everything. And I think that's what I need to try and do. So
Yeah. Also, I think it's time for all of us to really kind of take a look at our health and really, how as a society, like we eat food and things like a lot of us should probably be drinking a lot, having a lot more like vitamin C, focusing on maybe having more zinc in our diet, and also maybe even having some more consideration for those who are older, or who or people who are immunocompromised. Like even as you get older, like you can feel super young at 50, but immunally, like you might not always, you might not even know that you're not in as good a health as you really thought that you were. So I think this really gives us a chance to like take a second look. How do we take care of ourselves? How do we take care of others? And how do we also give understanding to others who need it, and empathy to those who need it as well? All right, Avi, do you have any last words before we end the cast?
I think it unites the world. I mean, yes, obviously, Corona and quarantine it's a sad, like, it started out like everyone's like very sad, like everything's getting canceled. But talking to my family across the world, they're all in the same spot, and we're all kind of we all have our prayers out for everyone who's sick, but I think everyone's kind of going through the same thing. Everyone's realizing that staying home is the better option and how we're just all in this together. It's very like unifying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you know, something that could break the camel's back. Like we can either, you know, be torn apart, or we can all, you know, use this to opportunity to work together as humanity. You know, as just a human race in general, no race or creed or color, just you know, pure humanity coming together as humans. And I really hope that something like that could come out of this. And you know, of course, maybe like universal health care, and you know, that's a little bit of a dirty word, but hopefully that won't be for very long, much longer. And we're all in this together, and we're all gonna keep each other going, and we'll all come out of this. So this has been a really great podcast. We're doing this every week. This is Avital and Samantha, and they're part of the Beth Sholom Temple Youth Group at Temple Beth Sholom in New City. And this is our podcast that we do every week, at least until we're out of quarantine. It's lit. So thanks everybody for joining in, and see you on the next cast.